All right, here we go. Okay, let's. I'm getting over a cold, or what I hope is a cold. Anyway, this day and age, you get sick. Who knows? Could be the plague. Could be just a runny nose. I'm from a gambling state, so I rolled the dice. Good morning from Monterey. Friday night, it's pretty cool. I passed the 2,000 mile mark on the journey. So 2,000 miles from where I originally left to where I am now. As the crow flies, it's not, but still pretty cool. I have been on the road as of Thursday for a full month, which is just crazy to think about. A lot has happened in that time. Seen a lot of things, been to a lot of places. I spent the weekend in Big Sur, which, if you've never been, it is hands down my favorite part of California. It's probably my favorite place in the world. Just very untamed, very desolate. And whenever I get there, maybe it's the lack of cellular connectivity. Maybe it's just the mysticism about it. But I just get a very clear head about things. And I just naturally start reflecting on stuff. That's what I did a lot this week. It was just kind of meditated. I wouldn't even say meditated, just like thoughts. Just like thought things without so much noise whirring in the background. I'm reading this pretty cool book. It's called Sailing Alone Around the World by Captain Solvang, I guess is what his name is. I think it's even required reading in high school for probably, kids in much waspier parts of the country. But it's written by this sea captain in the late 1890s who fixes up this old ship, and he's kind of in the twilight years of his life, and he's watching the world change. The sailing industry is kind of moving away from the tall ships with the masts and sails and moving more into steamers. And here's this guy that spent his entire life learning the sea, learning how to sail, and he doesn't really know what else to do. So he just travels around the world, and he tells the story of his adventures in this very matter-of-fact way. It's definitely got those flavors of wanderlust, adventure. But he also, talks about all the shitty stuff that happens to him. He gets cramps from eating this weird cheese on this island. He's chased by Somalian pirates. And just got me thinking about documentation around adventures, especially in the modern age. Before I got into van life, I followed a bunch of people on Instagram and YouTube, and I'd watch their stuff, and of course it's just the highlight reels, right? They're parked in front of these amazing vistas, and they're having all these really cool Instagrammable moments, and what you don't see is all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes that isn't that great. And after a month on the road, I can promise you that there's a lot of moments like that. Just the other night, so it was Thursday night, I was pulling into San Luis Obispo. I was starting to get sick. I had a head cold. And I'm in this parking lot of this Mexican food joint, getting ready for bed, because I got to get ready for bed somewhere else than where I'm actually sleeping so that they don't know that I'm in my van. And I reach into my little toiletry bag to grab my toothbrush and stuff, and my razor was sticking out. And I slid off a good chunk of my finger, lots of meat. So I'm just in this parking lot, bleeding profusely out of my finger, not feeling well. All I want to do is go to bed, and I'm having to give myself first aid on the spot. And all this before I go find a auto repair shop to park in front of to sleep in for the night. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, everything is kind of a mixed bag. This is a really cool experience that I'm on. But it's not all the shiny stuff that you see. I'm very glad that I'm doing it. I wouldn't trade it for anything. And at the end of it, I know that it's going to be this thing that I look back on for years to come as one of the highlights of my life. But, you know, you got to take the good with the bad. And I'm not one of those people that are saying like, oh, you got to get through the bad moments because the good moments make it so worth it. Like, that's the working for the weekend mentality. And fuck that shit. I'm not about that. I think that I'm more of the opinion now that you got to find the humor even in the bad parts. Like, you know, you got to learn to laugh while you're sopping up your own blood, I guess is what I'm trying to say. If there's a takeaway from this last month, I would say that that's it. I think I'm going to try and be a little bit more honest in my documentation around what I'm doing, because, again, lots of cool things, lots of cool moments to document, but, you know, there's stuff going on in the in-between that I think it's just as beneficial, even if it's not as enjoyable in the moment. You know, there are lots of moments alone. There's lots of moments of just, you know, taking stock of what the end goal is. Lots of moments just like feeling lonely and, you know, feeling disconnected. But through that, I think is an opportunity to kind of connect more with myself. You know, I think that there can be serenity in those silent moments. And I don't think that I had a full appreciation of that before this trip and before I had the chance to spend so much time on the road on my own. I know that I skipped a couple weeks. I was in Oxnard for the 4th and things just got a little crazy. So here's everything since we last talked. I'll catch you guys further up the road.